Welcome back, everybody. Okay, we challenged our good friend, Chef Ken Hall, who's the executive chef for all the Oneida restaurants. Let me tell you, he's a dad, he's a busy guy. He's got a lot going on, a lot of hats up in the air. Is that what we want to say? So it happens to all of us, though. We still got to put dinner on the table every night, you know?
Yeah, and you get bored doing the same thing over and over
Sure
and
you
over
do.
again.
Yeah.
So the recipe that I'm getting ready to do is kind of throwing a little culture at the kids without telling them you're throwing a little culture at the kids.
Love
type
that,
of thing.
like international night.
Exactly.
Which is really fun to do. So we're going to do a kind of a Spanish chicken dish. First thing we want to do is we're going to get the couscous going. This is, talk about a quick fix. I love this stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, because you can't screw it up.
Right.
It's just the quickest, and everyone loves couscous.
Everybody loves couscous. It's really not Spanish, but we're going to pretend that it fits with it tonight.
It works. It's Mediterranean.
It's
How about that?
Mediterranean.
Okay, so
there we go.
basically, we got our liquid going. I turn
Yep.
off the liquid at this point. Dump in our couscous. It's kind of like a rice. Just if you
Quick
hand me,
stir.
Yep, quick stir. Lid on it, and in a few minutes we fluff it up. Unlike rice, you can't overcook it. You can't undercook it. Done. Hanging
Yep.
out. Okay. Moving
Hanging
on.
out, done.
Okay.
So the first thing is I wanted to talk about your Hungarian paprika.
Okay.
You can get it spicy and you can get it mild.
Can I make a confession?
Yes.
The only time I use paprika is putting a little bit on deviled eggs. You know, I mean, it's like one of those things that I don't use, but it really can add some great flavor.
The one trick with is you don't want to overuse it. It's kind of like a cumin or some of those other spices you don't use a lot of, but it's that back taste in your mouth. So you're eating something and you go, what is that flavor? Paprika and cumin and those type of flavors, those are those flavors that are kind of hidden back there. If you use too much, though, you're going to turn everything red.
Okay, so.
Because it will die. It's kind of opposite of saffron.
And you know what? I totally forgot about these pizzas that I'm smelling. And I do not want to overcook them, but we made these great flatbread pizzas with just unconventional ingredients, a Southwest kind of a spin on these with black beans and cilantro and garlic, and oh my gosh, wow, those look amazing.
Well,
Fresh
thank you.
corn, oh, I can hardly wait. You'd pay like $15 for each of those out at a restaurant, you know? Make
Right.
them at home.
Make
in
them at home.
minutes.
Absolutely.
Love it. Okay, back to the paprika and the chicken.
Okay, so what I did in here was I mixed some of the smoked paprika with some black pepper and some salt.
Okay.
Now the trick, instead of getting out your mallet and pounding on the chicken breast to get them flat so that you can cook them quick, one of the tricks that you can do is you can take it and you can just kind of butterfly it. So all we're going to do is we're just going to lay our knife flat and we're just going to butterfly it.
So it's like almost like scallopino mutts, but we're just not
Exactly.
cutting it through. But that's a
Yep.
great, because pounding is kind of a hassle. Normally you get it between two plastic or two sheets of, you know, and sometimes the whole kitchen is wearing chicken when you're all done. So I love that idea. And the chicken breasts now are sometimes, they're so big and they take forever to cook, and there's nothing
Right.
worse that you cut into it and it's not done.
Well,
so,
and then it ends up being real dry.
yeah, yeah.
And so what I like to do is I like to butterfly these down.
Great tip.
They cook nice and quick.
So now we're going to kind of rub these guys. Is that what we're
Yep.
doing?
Now we're going to take this seasoning. If you want to put a little
Yep.
oil in the pan.
Paprika, salt, and pepper. Biggest skillet you have. That's really one of my secrets for quick fixes is big skillet. Big skillet gives you big amount of cooking space, so you can get it all done. One skillet dishes are, you know, my fave these days.
And you want to get it hot too.
Okay,
you know,
smoking hot.
that'll save some time.
In?
So, yep.
Down?
You want to throw those in, down, seasoning down. I'm going to wash my fingers.
Yep, and then a little seasoning goes on top, maybe.
Yep, a little more on top.
Season both sides.
You just want to be careful when you're dealing with raw chicken that you make sure you wash your hands
Yep,
frequently.
it is super important. But again, another tip for quick fixes. Little pieces of chicken or thin pieces of chicken, rather than, you know, if you got to get dinner on the table in a real hurry, cut up that chicken. You could do this same thing in just little chunks of chicken, you know.
Well, just like your stir fry, you can
Yep.
do it real
Yep.
quick,
Yep.
simple, easy. Then what we've got is we've got a can of diced tomatoes with chilies, the mild chilies in there.
Okay, should we flip this? What's our,
Yep, once it takes on a little color, we'll go ahead and flip that over.
you can see how quick that is. Oh, it smells. That paprika, wow, does that smell good. I'm going to start using it for more than just deviled eggs. I'm going to now.
Okay, so now since we've got that in, what we're going to do is we've got a half a cup of olives.
Which we all have a jar of olives in our fridge or in our pantry. That's very, you don't think about adding that to a skillet dish, but very Spanish.
Very Spanish. And then the stewed tomatoes. Again, I'm like you. I like to keep a stock pantry.
Really pretty. This is colorful and different and unique.
And then I've got some fresh basil here. I'm going to sprinkle the fresh basil around.
Okay.
And we're going to let that cook. And then while that cooks,
Cover it.
we're going to cover it.
You need a cutting board?
Yep.
Yep.
Grab another one real quick. And grab a clean knife so I'm not using our chicken knife. And then what we've got here is we've got prosciutto, which is a cured ham. It's not smoked, but it's cured.
It's tasty.
It's very tasty, and it's super, super thin, so a lot of times they put these pieces of paper in between.
It helps, yeah.
Not me right now, but usually it helps to be able to get them apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up like this, and this you don't want to boil because it'll get kind of tough.
Right.
So we're going to add that at the end. So we're just going to cut some really thin strips.
They use like a Serrano ham in a lot of Spanish cooking, but that's really hard to find. So this is kind of the same sub for it in an Italian version.
Right.
This stuff's a little bit pricey. Warning on this. You know, you're gonna spend $4 or $5 a packet, but a little goes a long way.
Yeah, a
and
little
it's
goes a long way.
It's absolutely delicious. My daughter doesn't understand that it's a little bit expensive, so all of a sudden the whole packet will be gone. That is one of her weaknesses. She can't stop eating prosciutto.
Right.
Love you, Ireland, but have to hide it from
Well, and having just the little bits and pieces left over as we're looking at these little pizzas, this is great to throw on top.
Yeah, and we're just going to kind of finish the dish with this. Check on our couscous. Could you hand me a fork, and I'm going to fluff that up a little bit, and then I think what we'll do is, do you think this is ready, this couscous?
Yep,
How's that looking?
couscous is ready.
So that's why I say you don't have to worry about screwing it up. You will not screw it up. It won't overcook. It won't undercook. You just fluff it with a fork. Let's take a break, and then we'll let this chicken, because I know it's not quite done yet. I wanted to give you a peek. We're almost to the finish line here, and then we'll take this to the plate when we come back. And all the quick fix recipes that you saw on the show today, you can find on our website, fox11online.com. Click on the Living tab and recipes, and they'll be right there. And Chef Ken will be right back to wrap up this one skillet Spanish chicken dish. Stay with us.